So I would like to welcome to the stage a very special speaker. I would like to welcome Belal Jassoma from DMCC. Of course, DMCC are our platinum sponsors for this event, so of course their support is very much appreciated as always. But yes, if Belal would like to come to the stage, and he's going to be talking about Dubai and Web3 gaming, and of course I know. Web3 isn't particularly monetization related. However, it's a nice prelude to what kind of content you can expect for tomorrow. So yes, welcome Belal, and I'll let you take it away.
Good evening, GameExpo. It's great to be here. It's great to be back in this amazing event for the third year in a row. And thank you all for joining me here today. So, okay, that's my picture, I guess. There are many gaming hubs around the world, and I had the privilege to meet leading gaming companies from almost all the countries that you see on the screen. In fact, I recently, actually this morning, came back from our back-to-back Japan and Korea roadshow, and I was privileged to meet some of the leading gaming companies and very impressed to see the gaming technology over there. That said, the UAE in particular has emerged in recent times as one of the leading gaming hubs. And why, one would ask? Well, there are many reasons, but to start with, Dubai has really positioned itself as a global business hub and as the gateway to Middle East, Africa, and South Asia. And some of the things that gaming businesses find very interesting about it is that it's very centralized, being able to manage East and West in terms of time zone, as well as logistical and flight connectivity. As you can see from the screen, you're about 4 to 8 hours flight from some of the very interesting markets. But aside from that, Dubai really is ranked highly, number one in most cases, around the world or in the region, in a number of key areas, such as the economic competitiveness, the ease of doing business, economic performance, and also as a status as a great place to live. Dubai is also a top destination for events, and as you know, and events like this today, events are very important for promoting your business. And in the last couple of years, we've seen the rise of crypto, gaming, and tech events in here. Last but not the least, Dubai is a very cosmopolitan place. I mean, if you look around the room, you can see people from all over the world. And the business language here is English, so it makes it easy for expats to come and live and blend in. Now, before I move to the next slide, I'm really curious to know how many people in this room live in Dubai. Can you please raise your hand? Okay, so about 50%. So moving on, if you look at the startup ecosystem over here, when looking at things like the capital raised and the number of scale-ups, you can see that the UAE tops the charts when looking at the other countries in the region, and hopefully this will only grow further. Now, talk about gaming in particular in this region. We recently published a gaming edition of our Future of Trade report, which has predicted the MENA gaming revenues to almost double by 2027 to reach $6 billion. And that is supported by a number of key areas, such as the UAE having a young and tech-savvy population who's very passionate about gaming and watch a lot of game-related content. Also, we've noticed that, or we found that in a period of 6 years, there were over 170 gaming investment deals reaching almost 400 million US dollars. And that is supported by all those points that is mentioned on the screen. Now we see a rise of Web3 games, in particular in the DMCC, and we see our member companies enjoy a lot of monetization options, ranging from, okay, there seems to be an animation on the screen, so I'll go back. So from play to earn, to asset ownership and NFTs, to as well having blockchain marketplaces within the games. But we also see other games monetized by subscription models. That said, there are still challenges for Web3 games. And some of those challenges is the scalability of the Web3 technology and the complexity that requires a lot more skills and talent to have within the organization. As you can see, the access to game developer talent is not always easy. That doesn't mean that the future of Web3 game isn't promising, because we certainly see that it is. Now, talking about gaming in general in the UAE, there are a lot of opportunities, and the reason for those opportunities is that there's an attractive regulatory landscape over here, especially when looking at the Web3 regulation, which helps companies monetize and access the Web3 space. And in addition to that, the UAE government has really put gaming technology and disruptive technology on the national agenda. And we see that focus with the many strategies that were launched across the metaverse, the gaming, and more recently with the universal plan for AI that will help accelerate the adoption of AI across government organizations. The gaming spend per capita in the UAE is amongst the highest in the region. That also helps make it attractive for gaming companies over here. But there's always challenges, and some of those challenges is the availability of talent, like we mentioned before, as well as the need to create an awareness about the gaming industry and how key stakeholders should see it as a tool for many industries and not just as a game that can have people spend time on and so on. Now, because of the opportunities and to overcome those challenges, the DMCC has decided to focus on the gaming ecosystem and set up a gaming center. But before we talk about our gaming center, for those who don't know what DMCC is, we're a leading international business district with over 24,000 companies coming from all over the world and from all sectors. And as an area, it's about 200 hectares of land, or 2 million square meters, with 87 towers from commercial, residential, and hotels. So it's like a city within a city where people can work, live, and thrive. It's located in the area called JLT, for those who don't know. It's right opposite Dubai Marina, so it's centrally situated. Now, our journey with tech and gaming has started a long time ago, almost 10 years ago in 2015, when we partnered with Astrolabs to create a tech hub. And this tech hub has helped accelerate the growth of over 800 companies since inception, with over 3 exits and more than $300 million of funding raised by startups in the ecosystem. A good number of those companies were gaming and esports and gaming-related tech. The space offers ongoing access to investors, and you can see the brands of those investors on the screen. But with the rising demand of gaming companies expanding here, we actually set up a dedicated space called the DMCC Gaming Center, which is a nice and cool co-working space that will give you the license, the registration, the desk space for your company. But that's not it. As a member of the Gaming Center, you get access to acceleration programs, market entry programs, access to investors, and ongoing events, networking opportunities, and mentorship. These are just some of the pictures from the regular meetups that we do for our gaming center. And these are photos from our last game jam that was organized by one of our member companies. We plan to do more of these, as well as hackathons. This is an overview of the license activities that are possible for gaming companies. And as you can see, they're quite diverse in terms of the sectors, from game development, publishing, content creation, influencer, to esports-related activities such as esports teams, league operator, esports management, and the list go on. And as a result of that, we have a very diverse gaming ecosystem with over 100 gaming companies now from all the subsectors of that space. And some of the members in the gaming ecosystem are presented on the screen. And we have ecosystem partners that help us deliver the value proposition of our gaming ecosystem. We talked about talent challenges earlier, and our ecosystem partner, Level Up, will help specifically recruit for gaming within our space. Brink and Astrolabs help with access to funding, and Epiphany help us deliver the events. So we talked about Web3 and having a crypto ecosystem which is more mature than the gaming one, since we had it for the last 3 years now, will help our gaming companies scale up and access the Web3 liquidity, and we're seeing a lot of that. For example, our tech partners, especially Boba and Solana, have a particular focus on gaming companies, and they offer grants for companies that operate in our gaming and crypto centers if they develop their Web3 game on their infrastructure. Brink and TDFi run our acceleration programs, and some of those programs were focused on Web3 games. Bybit is our listing partner, and they can provide an expedited service to list your token on their exchange, and it could be also, of course, your Web3 token. And none of this would be possible, of course, without the support of the local and federal regulators that we work closely with to help navigate through those challenges. These are pictures from our last acceleration program. And as you can see, there are cash prizes that were given to the top 3 winners. We also had a crypto innovation challenge, a hackathon, which was actually the largest crypto hackathon in the UAE last year. The top 3 winners took home $100,000 in USDT, and we plan to do this once again this year. None of the 3 winners were Web3 games, but I saw that some of the top 10 that made it to that were actually Web3 games. I know that because I was one of the judges. And these are the license activities that are possible in the crypto ecosystem. They're also diverse. There are some regulated activities, and there are some which are more on the technology and the metaverse and acceleration side. And as a result of that, of course, we have a diverse also Web3 ecosystem. More than 600 companies now. This needs to be updated. And that makes us actually the largest Web3 ecosystem and the largest concentration of Web3 companies in the region. On the right side of the slide, you'll see more of the metaverse and gaming-related companies. Now, at DMCC, we play an active role in making sure that all of those companies actually collaborate and engage with one another. We also published a crypto, DeFi, and metaverse edition of our Future of Trade report, where we predicted the size of the metaverse market to reach $4.4 trillion by 2030. And that is supported by the rise of the AI technology and how it can scale up this industry, as well as the many road-tested use cases that support the growth of this sector. So, in conclusion, if you're a tech, Web3, crypto, or gaming, or all of the above company, and you want to join an ecosystem where you feel like you can belong, where you can find your community, your industry peers, you can join DMCC. Thank you very much for listening. That's it from my side.
Brilliant. Thank you so much, Belal. We have time for a few questions if anyone has any. Just put your hand up if you've got any questions. Dave, do you have anything? I know you normally have something to say.
Hello. Just an observation.
Sure.
I've been in Dubai only for a couple of weeks now, but I was very privileged to be invited to a number of Web3 events in the region. We just had Token 2049 in the region and the Arts Now Fest. Why is Dubai particularly strong for Web3 blockchain and innovation like that?
That's a good question. Thank you. So one of the reasons is that from the beginning, Dubai has decided to be a crypto-friendly city. And DMCC was actually at the forefront of that. We pioneered the crypto ecosystem. We were the first to issue licenses. We opened up to that market. And the good thing about the leadership in the UAE is that once we set our mind to something and once we put an agenda in place, we don't scale back. And we've seen actually, governments both or jurisdictions, I would say, both in the East and West, kind of, moving forward and kind of having a change of heart and scale back a little bit. And that gives uncertainty to big players and it doesn't give them the comfort to invest their resources and hire people even further. And that hasn't happened in the UAE, and that helped us attract even more of the key players. And the more big players you attract, the more, of course, it helps grow and make the ecosystem complete. So I think that's one of the key reasons for that. The second is that the push for innovative technologies. So we really see that technologies like blockchain and AI, they can really take trade and investments and industry to the next level. And that is what we want to see, actually. It's not just about having the crypto transactions, but also scaling up other businesses, conventional businesses, and have them gain further traction using those technologies. And that's the reason for the push from the government side and from our side as well. Thank you.
Does anyone else have any questions? We've still got a little bit of time if anyone does any questions. Okay, I have one. So,
sure.
More of just a general question. Where do you see blockchain and Web3 games in the next 5 to 10 years in the MENA region and globally?
Sure. So the use cases that we see currently, I mean, they're only going to grow further. So we see them in action, basically. We see them being used, but the traction isn't there as much. But you can see that the practicality of those use cases are working. So we see a lot more adoption, and we see a further spread across wider sector, especially when looking at the metaverse and what it can do to a lot of the sectors. And DMCC itself, I mean, we're also exploring the metaverse, and very soon we'll be launching something in that space. And if you think about it, I mean, the number of users that we have and the amount of services that we offer to our members, and if we can gamify that and if we make it more appealing to our users and more interactive, that's only going to make our service more appealing for our end user.
All right, there's still time for one question. So if anyone has a final comment to say, please put up your hand. Yep, one over there.
Thank you. I was interested in the hub aspect that you started with the world map, trying to build a hub here in Dubai. A lot of what we've seen in Europe, specifically around places like Malmo in Sweden, Dundee in Scotland, Guildford in England, the hubs are actually, they are sort of self-grown. So they are a result of local talent being taught, nurtured, and grown in those regions. I wonder if you see that happening in Dubai, like in those other regions where places like Abertay University in Scotland have really been the driving force behind a lot of the development that's gone on up there. So do you see that nurturing going on in Dubai at those levels, the sort of grassroots, I guess you'd call it?
Sure. So if I'm to compare UAE to other players in the region, I would say that the growth here is more organic. So, and it happens over a period of time. It's not happening very basically fast. But I would have to admit that education is an area that we can improve on, and it is the single most important pillar basically that we have to focus on to have a more sustained growth, I would say. So your observation is absolutely right, and it is basically an area of focus both on the government side and on the DMCC side.
Brilliant. Could we give Belal a round of applause, please?
Thank you.